Morning, people. I finally got some sleep. I took off yesterday because I really wasn't feeling good. I was having all types of like stomach issues. Like my body was really acting up. I don't know if it was from my daughter getting sick from school last week, or if it's just literally all the stress, because I did not sleep ever since that phone call. I didn't sleep for well over 24 hours. And I had planned to do my hair, the morning after that call, but never got to it. Just really don't feel like it. But today I'm getting up. I don't even remember much of yesterday. That's the crazy thing about it. And right now, like, I feel numb. It's like I feel like I can still cry, but I still feel like I don't feel attached to my body completely. It just sometimes self-care is just getting things done and making sure you still keep going no matter how much you're hurting. And I'm really a mess. I can't let myself. Yeah, I'm just a mess. But at least I got some rest. I went to sleep yesterday at like, I don't remember, maybe 10-ish. It's about 6:30. And after something like that occurring, I don't know, y'all, it just sent like a major shock through my body. And it's one of those moments where I feel like I really have to save myself. I have to stay close to God right now, because I know for sure my mental would crash if I let myself just do what I usually would do during a breakup, which is like let myself sulk. I definitely did that in the beginning of this relationship. The beginning of this breakup, which I think could be a good thing at first. Just go ahead, lay around, or whatever. Like, let yourself feel, like, stop everything if you can. And I suggest you still take care of your household at the very least, or as much as you possibly can. Do the dishes or something so you can eat, Now, since we're 2 months into this breakup, it's just so many pieces I was putting together yesterday. I went and sat in the park and just did a lot of thinking. I knew I couldn't really be in the house, even though I didn't feel good in my body. I couldn't be in the house too long. Then when I look around, it's still so many things. The house itself, which I wish I could throw away. I wish I would finally move. But it's just so many things that he bought me. I made this hoodie. It's actually really, really cool. See? It's our life together, our vacations, our kids, Thanksgiving, it's a lot. Like a blender, my entire glassware set, so I didn't have to use plastic anymore. Like the little lap desk that my computer sits on. There's so many things, and it's like I can't really replace all this stuff. I can't right now anyway. I can at some point, but not now. So it's like I gotta look at it, But I'm up and I'm gonna try to do something. I am gonna brush up these edges because today is Tuesday, which means it's mommy day, or it's a mommy day. Cairo will be back home later today. So she's in school right now. I'm gonna have to go pick her up later. So I'm just gonna get back on a routine that I've been on. And that's a big deal for me because I really just want to curl up in a ball. I really just want to curl up in a ball. But I gave myself yesterday to do that. So I'm not gonna just keep doing it because I know I'm gonna get stuck in it. So for me, it's best to keep moving. So I'm gonna go to the gym. And then when I get back, normally I would work with my manuscript and do some reading and clean up around the house, which I'm still gonna clean up. I have to, because I like my kid to come back home to a clean house. I'm gonna come back and try to just wash my hair in the very least, because this product buildup is terrible at this point. Look at that. You gotta do something with yourself, girl. Like Medea said, I've been seeing that on TikTok. It's like the only social media platform I've been entertaining right now. Medea said, get up and go on with your life. And I hate when people used to say like, he's not thinking about you. And I don't mean like him specifically, like just anybody I've ever been with. Or I just hear other people say to other people like, he moved on, girl. Like, don't let him, stop you from living. When in actuality, it's not about that. It shouldn't ever be about them, whatever they're doing, and them living their best life. It already hurts to think about that enough. It hurts to think about them being with someone else when you're fresh out of a relationship. So don't make anything about them. Like, don't make you, or like try to force yourself to move on, or force yourself to heal or feel better because they're probably living their best life. No, like, my feelings are real. I need to deal with them, and I don't know how to show up as anything other than myself. There's times where I shut down and where I become avoidant around certain people because I need to as a protective thing. But regardless, if I'm not having a good day, if I'm sad, or if I'm happy, if I'm joyful and playful, or if I'm down in the dumps, I'm depressed, or I'm angry, like I don't always try to act on those things like I used to. Like I used to be very impulsive with my emotions. But you'll see it now. You'll just see it. I'm not gonna act on it, but you'll see it. I don't know, that I'd rather be that way. I like being authentic and not trying to put on airs. And of course, when you go to work, you gotta, but I do have an office that I sit in by myself, and if I need to cry, I'm gonna cry, in that office. But while I'm sitting around other people, or when I have to go deal with my clients, I'm gonna wipe it away, do what I gotta do. So I'm gonna do that right now. And go to the gym and try not to cry and just continue with this routine because my sanity needs it. It's just that simple. I mentioned earlier that I just started connecting certain dots, and these could be true or not, and it doesn't always help to ruminate. My hair is so stiff. Ooh, we'll get you together, girl. If nobody love you, you're gonna love you, okay? But yeah, when I was sitting in the park, of course, everything just comes flushing to your mind, and I was trying to do that. I was allowing myself to sit there and do that so that I could try to release it and just get some peace with it all. Just all the things that, or all the behaviors in a relationship is starting to make sense now that I know that he has a person fresh out of the relationship. But I allowed myself to just go through all those emotions and think through things and put dots together. But a lot of weird things occurred that like I felt weird about, but I had no proof. I had no way of proving that these things could be true. So, I just brushed it over like any person would that's in love and doesn't want to see their person for who they really are, or doesn't want to believe that their person could be someone that is not truthful with them, And I used to be made to feel crazy for not believing stuff or not trusting my own inner knowing. God gave us discernment for a reason. Like this woman's intuition that we have, it's not for a reason. I don't need the proof. And that's how some men can get you. When I used to worry so much about him cheating and I would bring it up or whatever, because I really felt like things were off a lot. But after like the first maybe 4 months, that's when it started feeling like things are off. But I don't know, he just was still such a good man to me that I don't think I purposely ignored it. It's just that, you know, when like someone can love bomb you into feeling like, okay, what I thought must be crazy. No, they must really actually care about me. Like, no, that can't be a thought. It must be me. We would have issues because I thought what I thought, you know, and or I felt what I felt about him not being faithful. I've even had dreams. I've had dreams when we were fine, when we didn't have no disagreement, no issue, no nothing, which was rare anyway. The only issue was me feeling this, you know, feeling like he's not being honest. I'll find out if I need to. Like, it'll come to me. And like, don't let me pray about it. I'll find out. But I just still was like, maybe it's me. Maybe it's my trauma from other hurt or other heartbreak or just my childhood trauma, my past, whatever. But what he kept showing me, he kept showing up. He was very consistent with showing up. When he got with me, for all I knew, I could have been a rebound. He could have been fresh out of a relationship for 2 months then. I don't know. In 2 months, we were locked in. Like, we were trying to take things slowly, you know, and progress. But at the end of the day, like, we were in love. We were kissing a lot at that stage. He came around and saying, like, yeah, I do love you. I really do. And he really showed me. I can say that. From what I saw, I would have never thought that he didn't, you know. If you know anything about attachment styles, avoidance tend to, like, they crave intimacy, but once they really start getting close to you, they back up. They're like, it's too intimate. Like that, it scares them because of their upbringing. And that's why I kept being so understanding and lenient. But in the beginning, it was lots of that, lots of love. He took care of me. After the first 2 weeks that we met, I got sick and he stayed with me for 5 days. It was beautiful. It was hours and it was a lie. That's what it feels like, a lie. And I know, like, as much as I want to force those thoughts out of my head or like abruptly stop those things from coming to my mind, I know that it's gonna happen. And I just have to try to move through the waves of it and just let it come and just try to detach myself from it. I don't know. Right now, I'm just in a space where I don't know. Crying not just because it hurts, but because I've grown so much and I recognize that I'm really determined to keep going, you know. I'm really determined to get through this and heal and not sit around waiting for him or just sit around depressed and just laying on the couch all day. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I need and crave to be there for myself right now in a way that I never have before, and to really let God in the way that I haven't before. I accepted Christ into my life at 14, you know, and what do you really know at 14? So it's been a journey. And I had to really think about the fact that, you know, what if I keep running into these types of relationships because that's how I'm treating God? You know, it's easy for me to be super saved when I'm single, you know, but it's always been a struggle to me to uphold that in relationships because I just want to be loved. That's all I've ever wanted. And I feel like I've lacked a lot of that in my life. I lacked a lot of love, a lot of understanding from the people that I really needed it from. There's a reason why I keep falling for a certain type of men. There are certain examples that I have had in my life that I've been trying to either run away from or subconsciously am attracted to, maybe, I don't know. I know that I need to change my type. I need to really evaluate why, you know, I run into certain types of men. I really, in my heart of hearts, I don't want any man anymore who's unsure about me to find me. I really don't. I'm not gonna tell y'all the type of man I need because I don't want to put it out there then that type of man still keeps coming to me, but just masking it as the man that I want him to be. God knows the type of man that I want and need. And I'll tell you one thing's for sure. He has to know him. And you got to know him for you to know that person really knows God as well, because they got to bear some fruits. And I ain't just talking about just praying, just reading the word, because my ex did that with me. I want a man that is not just religious or not just, or just has a, you know, surface level basic knowledge of God and that they know to pray or read the Bible. I don't want that. I want and need someone who is passionate about God and who it's in his language, you know, it's in how he speaks, it's what he talks about at times, you know, it's how he carries himself. And I don't ever want to run into a man again that don't have that. I don't, because I know that when I fall for someone, when I'm in love, it is hard for me to maintain my salvation. It really is, because I'm a lover girl, and like I said, I've just always wanted to be loved, so I end up losing myself. I always end up just trying to be everything that person needs. And like sacrificing a lot of myself, and I've sacrificed a lot of my goals, and I don't even put that on that person. I put that on myself, you know, because the most important thing in my life to me has been trying to build my own family. And I feel like right now God is saying, like, yeah, that's been your main focus. What about me? That's why this is so deep for me. But yet again, I'm just going to tell myself I'm going to get through it. This is temporary. This is the hardest heartbreak I've ever had to grow through. It hurts so bad. It's one of those moments where I feel anxiety coming up, so I need to just breathe and let it out. I just want to do whatever it takes to get through this and make sure that I never put myself in certain situations again to feel like this. But I'm gonna try to stop crying before too much time slips by, so get to the gym and going about my day. See y'all later. Hey y'all, so I made it to the gym. Not really into recording my workouts like that. I love just getting in there and being in the zone. You guys will just have to see the transformation or pay attention as I go. Oh, I also did want to say before I head in, when you're going through a breakup, really be mindful of the content that you allow in. If I didn't say that already, be mindful of the content that you're taking in. That's why I'm not on social media right now, except for TikTok occasionally. But I'm on TikTok because it's like select few people. I don't want to say I don't care, but it's people that I don't mind. I'll say I don't mind seeing me go through my journey, or because I definitely went on a TikTok splurge yesterday and the day before. And I hadn't made any TikToks since our last vacation in June. So that was big for me, because creating content was even becoming triggering, because the last time I made content was with him, you know. And I had actually recorded another video just to give you guys like the full picture of the last trip, for anyone out there that are cruisers or want to start cruising or hasn't sailed on Carnival Celebration yet, which was the last sailing that I went on. So I just talked about just the experience and the different restaurants and, you know, just the whole experience. During this video, make sure you like and share to anyone that is traveling soon, or if you are traveling soon, and especially if you're going on Carnival Celebration, which is where we just came back from. It's been about a month now, but still got the post-cruise blues. I'm just excited to share my experience and, well, our experience on this ship, and how different it is from the last that we were on, Carnival Liberty, which was still fun, but this ship is there's no comparison. But unfortunately, as time went on, I just felt stupid, honestly, like just while I was editing it and putting it up, knowing we're not together anymore, because I was still referring to him as my man in the video, because at the time when I recorded it, he was still my partner. because I recorded that probably 2 weeks before we broke up, or maybe even the week before. I'm not sure. But so I was going to put that out, but I want to stay authentic to my journey. And that wasn't, by the time it would have been posted on here, it's not my reality anymore. So this is my current reality. So I'm going to record and show this. But yes, just be mindful of what you are taking in, whether it's social media, what you're watching on TV. I do recommend watching the movie Someone Great if you just went through a breakup with someone that, if you went through a toxic relationship, don't, because it's not going to apply. But if you had someone that you felt like was home for you and you had a really beautiful relationship and it ended for whatever reason, whether it's, you know, moving away or just whatever reason where you feel like it could have worked, but the other person just chose not to make it work, watch the movie Someone Great on Netflix. Music can be therapeutic for me at times. Music is a form of therapy, or it can be a form of some other stuff, some dark stuff. So you gotta be very selective with that. Go through your music. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through my entire library, getting rid of music that does not serve me anymore, that influences me in the wrong way. And playlists are very important. It sounds like a simple thing, but hear me out. It's very important, because then you ain't got to put your whole library on shuffle. And this is for people that use Apple Music like I do. If you have Spotify, I don't really have Spotify, so I don't know how that works. Creating playlists, I feel like you can select each day. If you listen to music every day or whenever you listen to music, you can select each day what you want to feel. You can choose it instead of shuffling your entire library or just putting on like a station and letting whatever come up. Then you might get bamboozled. A song might pop up that you didn't need to hear today, like Brandy, Have You Ever?
Have you ever found the one you dreamed of all your life? You do just about anything to look into their eyes. Have you finally found the one you've given your heart to, only to find that one won't give their heart to you? Oh no. Have you ever closed your eyes and dreamed that they were there, and all you can do is wait for that day when they would care? Oh, so much.
You know, like, and if you was in a good mood and that pops up and that triggers you, like, you know, but set the tone for yourself. That's why in the morning I put on my gospel, you know, and if I feel like I'm having a very hurtful day, then that's what I'm going to listen to all day to reassure me that I'm going to get through this. But if I'm having a better day where I feel like, you know, my triggers are not as powerful that day, then I'll select a playlist that'll continue to feed that joy or that, you know, that peacefulness. They're important, trust me. But okay, I'm heading in the gym now, so I'll see you guys again later. That was a really good workout. I really needed that. And I just want to share this with y'all real quick. As much as I'm just feeling really, really empty today, you know, I felt that nudge from the Lord to just go. So I did it. I'm here. And I shuffled my gospel playlist. And the first song that came on was More Than Able by Elevation Worship. If you know, you know. Tell me why this was the first day that I cried in the gym. Didn't care who was around, didn't care who saw me. Like, I wasn't bawling, but, you know, and then I felt good at the same time for coming and working out, pushing. And something came to me in that moment to make sure that I'm not saying anymore that this is the worst heartbreak I've been through. While it is, what's also true is that it's the best breakup of my life, because I've never gone so hard for myself like this before. And it's an amazing feeling, although it stings and it's painful, but it's worth it. Okay, so my phone ran out of storage just as I was about to say what I was about to say. And I have to try to remember I had to sit and like offload some apps real quick on my phone until I get a chance to sit down and actually delete some of the content from being with my ex. But yeah, so on top of me crying in the gym, in the middle of me wiping some tears, I saw a friend. I needed that. We hugged, embraced, we talked for a little bit. Literally, we both are going through a period of grief. So she understands what I'm dealing with. So we just, talked a little bit, encouraged each other, and continued to work out. But I needed that. I really did. So I'm glad I came. And I feel like I can navigate the day a little better now. Even though, I don't know why I still have these on. Even though I'm just, I really do feel shattered right now. But I was reminded even then and there to just not focus on that, to focus on God's promises and focus on what God is doing and the ways that he's showing up for me right now. And one of the ways that he has been showing up for me right now has been just allowing peace and literally joy in my spirit, and just having so much hope, like being flushed and filled with hope in the middle of feeling like the toughest emotions, And the fact that those two can exist is a beautiful thing. But I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the way that God loves me, and I really feel a shift this time around in this season with going through something like this. It's amazing that I feel different, and I feel even growth. Like, I don't feel like the same person I was last month or even really last week. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Got some things to do before my baby comes home from school. I'm gonna see y'all later.
And I know that there's more than this. Yeah. And I know that there's more than this. Hey, yeah.
Hey, you guys. So I just came from the gym. First of all, I am noticing some major transformation, and I am so grateful. I mean, look, like, your girl is like transforming. You can't really see it out here. Can't really see it yet. But yes, I have been having some really rough days, as you see thus far. And it's been actually really hard for me to record. At the end of it, it kind of helps, especially when I've been beginning to edit and looking back and listening. I know that God has been a part of this process, no matter how ugly it looks, no matter how dark it may look and feel at the time. But I know that it's necessary. So I just wanted to share with you guys today. I don't know, today I just woke up in general just feeling a little better. And I know that it's God, because this past weekend has been highly, intensely emotional for me. Over the last week as a whole has been a lot. And I've been feeling like my heartbreak has been being reset. So I'm gonna just come out and say it. Of course, you guys already know that I called my ex's phone and found out that he is seeing someone. Because she answered the phone and I was not expecting that. And body went into a complete shock and frenzy and just in total breakdown. And the same thing kind of happened this past weekend when I came across her TikTok page. Mind you, I've been off of social media, right? Off of Instagram and Facebook for the most part. I may log into Facebook every now and then, but I've been on TikTok. So I was originally going on his page to just block him. I let whatever voice was in my head at the time say, go look at his friends list. And for some reason, she was just like, she was right there, right? Not at the top, like a little further down. So I went on her page. Everything in me wants to say that was a mistake, but I believe that I was supposed to see the things that I saw. Even though when I can't even explain to you guys yet again what my body went through in that moment in my mind. I literally felt like the enemy was trying to take my mind over. I mean, just in general over this breakup, but especially since I found out this information, right? And I just went down, of course, a whole spiral in my mind until I just got to a point where, first of all, I went to church this past Sunday. I did do that. And I recorded some TikToks. I have been posting TikToks since I found that out, just going down like an emotional spiral, and even kind of before I found it out, but just went down an emotional spiral. But I do believe that the TikToks that I put out was still God-driven, because I cannot tell you the amount of not only encouragement that I've been receiving in my comments, but also an opportunity for me to pray for others and to converse with others, and been talking to people in my inbox that are going through the same thing, and just literally like in fellowship with people that are also heartbroken in this season. And it's crazy, but people have been saying to me things that I know is coming from God, and that they're being used by God, whether they realize it or not, whether they have a relationship with him or not. God has been using these people. Even today, outside, I just ran into someone that I don't even know. And this has been happening to me a lot lately, but she just out of nowhere, she's a nurse, and she looks around my age and was just like, "You are so beautiful." And I was like, "Thank you." But it just did something for me, because it's like God keeps reaffirming me through, of course, just directly from him, but then through other people. And I've really been needing it, because ever since I found out about her, and then I've seen her page, which I did comment and I messaged her, total impulse. But God has been letting me know, like, don't go on that girl page no more, or none of her other accounts. Leave her alone, let this play out, right? And just some other things that God has been dropping in my spirit that I'm gonna keep to myself. But I've been comparing myself and really like having low self-esteem. And, you know, just regardless of that, I've just been I've been feeling a strong urge to just stay in God's presence. I've been waking up in praise, going to sleep at night in praise, in the middle of the day, praise, all gospel, all word, you know, just really letting God just sit with me, because I know that he's allowing this feeling to linger for a reason and for a purpose. And it's necessary. I needed it. And he may not be pulling me out right away, but he's sitting with me in it. And that's the only reason why I feel like even today, like I was able to smile. I've been able to laugh. I was laughing a lot yesterday, which felt so good, because I've been feeling like I haven't really been able to give an authentic laugh. And I also have been just self-reflecting. I mean, I've been doing it this whole time, but I've been going down a spiral of learning more about attachment styles, deep diving in on avoidance particularly, because that's what I was dealing with. And I actually have more compassion and sensitivity towards him now. I'm able to understand now, and then also see the part I played in it as far as contributing to his triggers, instead of only focusing on how he was triggering my attachment style, which is an anxious attachment style, which I claim victory over at this point. I believe that I'm going to be a secure attachment style by the end of all of this. But I've just been able to look at it a little differently, and just praying for him. And I've been praying for her. Honestly, I know I don't have to do that, but I've been feeling, and honestly, if I'm being honest, I have been wanting to. But usually, sometimes that God wants you to do, you kind of automatically resist. But I've just been, like I said, trying to be obedient. So I've been praying regardless. And whenever God tells me to stop, I will. I don't know. It's just been helping me to feel a little bit better, and just look at things more from a spiritual aspect, and recognize that, or remember that we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against principalities and, you know, the powers of the air, or however the scripture goes. You know, I know it's in my heart, but I can't always recite scriptures like to a T, or remember the exact scripture or where it came from. Either way, it still hurts so bad, you know, but I can feel the transformation. I see God moving, and I had to recognize that, like, I'm really going hard for myself. And it's like, I've been questioning, like, why wasn't I doing that in a relationship, you know? And I was becoming more and more depressed in that relationship, and not even realizing. I would know, I would feel that something's off and that I was feeling depressed, but I didn't realize how much it was blocking me. And not that my mental health is his responsibility at all, but I also had to see how he, like I said, was contributing to certain triggers of mine. As an anxious attachment, you know, reassurance and all those things really mean a lot to me. And the fact that him being an avoidant wasn't able to be consistent with that would make me go into a chase mode where I'm chasing him, where I'm like kind of like always bringing it up. And I had to recognize that too and see how that kind of made him, as an anxious or as an avoidant, feel inadequate and feel like, you know, he's not the right one for me and all of that, you know. But it's just, it's been a lot of realization. It's been a lot of self-reflecting. It's been a lot that God has just been showing me and revealing in me. And if I got to sit in the fire a little longer, or however God wants me to, or however long God wants me to, I'm just taking up my cross and carrying it in this season, and just truly praying for endurance through it, because I know on the other side of this that there is more that God has for me, and I'm just clinging on to that and holding on to that. If y'all know Molly music and some of his older music, one of my favorite songs of his is Conquer, and I haven't heard it in a while, but it came on today in the gym, like probably somewhere in the beginning of my workout. I wasn't far into my workout when it came on, and when I tell you guys, I played that thing on repeat my entire workout, and it was literally getting me through. And see how the devil works too. Why did a man walk into the gym and walk right by me that looks exactly like my ex? Like almost to a T. The only differences were his eyes were a little more slanted and he was a little taller, but the body build, he even had the almost bald head, light skin, like literal same complexion, the beard, like it was his back looked the same, his arms, his leg, everything, right? And that was during my last workout, and I wanted to give up. I wanted to be like, you know what? I did the rest of my workout. I'm about to be done. But when I was listening to that song and the words that it was saying, it literally just pushed me through. I encourage you to look it up. We are more than conquerors, okay? Like, we can get through this even when it doesn't feel like it. And whoever's watching this, I'm praying for you and believing that for you too. It's Tuesday, so of course it's mommy day. Cairo's in school. I'm doing laundry, but I gotta hurry up and get in the shower so I can get my laundry out, clean the house, and do what I gotta do, and just press through this day. This is one of these hard nights, man. I'm sitting here eating dinner. I did make some pasta with some mushrooms and carrots and broccoli. Trying to keep together because I'm a mom and I got to, you know. What'd you say, Coco? My baby's in the tub. Huh? Let me go see what my baby wants. What'd you say? Miss Mar?
I'm trying to mess my picture up.
Your picture. What made you think about Mar?
He lives with us in our apartment.
He lives with us in our apartment. He doesn't live here. He never has. You miss him being here? Is that what you're saying? It's understandable. Mommy misses him too. I'm sure he misses us. But what did mommy say? We have to move on, right?
Yeah. Stay in bed. Stay in your bed.
Stay what?
In your bed.
We have to move on, right?
Yes, stay in bed.
And
Stay in bed. Stay in bed.
remember, if someone wanted to be here, they would be here, right?
Stay in bed.
Right. All right, mommy's gonna come wash you up in a second. I'm almost done. That's the part about being a mother. I did not think I was gonna catch that. It's the part about being a mother and going through heartbreak. When you hurt, they hurt. You know, even if you don't always show it outwardly, they feel it, they know it, and she was used to his presence too. You know, so that's one part that's just very difficult. But me helping my child to get through it has also been helping me in a way. Even though when she's not here, I still cry. Me helping her just reminds me that, like, we're going to be okay, because I imagine her future, her dating a guy, the First time she's gonna be crying over a boy, you know, and I'm gonna have to be her mother and tell her the truth, but also console her. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's like me having to say it to her is helping me. So I don't know if I would have healed better or worse if I didn't have my child. Sometimes I feel like if I just didn't have a child, I could just deal with this. But honestly, before I had a kid, I would wallow in depression for months on end and not even really heal and continue in the same pattern. So now it's almost like having a child kind of forces you to break certain habits. Not that you can't without a child. I'm sure plenty of women do. But it's just something about being a mother that makes it 10 times harder, but also at the same time gives you motivation and reason to just keep going. I've lost some weight, guys. Look at my arm, look a little smaller. I can tell I've lost some weight, baby. Yes. Motivation as well. A lot of things are changing for me in the best way, but it's also, I have this sadness, like I wish, if I'm being realistic, I wish he was here with me to experience some of the changes, because I was with him when I was struggling and going through a lot and having issues in different areas of my life, and now things are starting to get better in a lot of areas, and it's just like, dang, I wish that person was here to experience that with me. But I'm learning that maybe things didn't get better while you were there because it wasn't meant to be, because you need to let that go, you know. And that's a tough thing to accept, but here I am, just moving forward. So it's crazy because a lot of things in my place, I haven't mentioned it before, just still resembles him. This t-shirt, we were in Jamaica, we got this t-shirt together. Just everything, it's just everything in here, but I'm still able to just like ignore it at this point and keep moving. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. What's up, guys? So I just came back from a little solo date night at Morimoto in Philly. I believe it's in or around or near Chinatown, but more than likely Center City, Philadelphia, if you're from there. I just wanted to end this vlog and just say that I'm so grateful for this journey. I mean, of course, you've seen the tears, of course. It's been really difficult, you know, trying to get back to a space of pouring into myself and loving on myself. And I'm still on the journey, and I'm still, I don't know if I'm really grieving anymore. Do I still think about it? Do I still hurt behind it when I think about certain things? Sure, but it's not necessarily an everyday thing where it's like affecting me so heavily every single day anymore. And that is a blessing. A lot has happened since this breakup. Even since the last time I recorded, the last clip you probably saw, there's been a lot that has happened. A lot of clarification and a lot of just seeing things for what they are and no longer holding on to the fantasy of what was or what I wanted it to be, what I expected it to be, what I hoped it would be. Whether I still see a future or not is really irrelevant. Of course, that's a question, but I'm really enjoying loving on myself and just being me, just being in my skin, just getting back to feeling like myself, feeling genuinely happy, having belly laughs, and, you know, just being able to smile authentically and not having to fake it. I feel like I just had to get to the root of why this time hurt me so much opposed to any other time, because I've been through other heartbreaks, you know, but I've never consciously grieved. I may have grieved before without really knowing it or going through the stages of grief. It really does result back to or stem from a lot of my childhood, and can't speak on some things because people in my family are still alive, you know, and I just want to be respectful, but I have gone through a lot, and I'm not going to deny that reality anymore, even if others around me have or has tried to or whatever. But I, for myself, had to get to the root cause of why this hurt me so much. And I know where it comes from now. And speaking of attachment styles, if I haven't made it plainly clear, I'm not even going to speak on him or what I believe his is anymore, because there's a lot that goes into that. And then I would have to give you examples. I don't even want to do that. I'm not even in that space anymore. But as for myself, I have learned that I'm not going to claim it anymore. I like to say that. But I am a healing anxious attachment. Anything that is not a secure attachment is unhealthy and is insecure, whether it's disorganized attachment or avoidant or anxious. And I don't really feel as though I showed up as anxious as much in this relationship, or I didn't feel that way. But I've learned that even when you start to walk on eggshells with someone and you start to push down your own voice and put aside your own needs, that too is a part of being an anxious attachment or having an anxious attachment. What I can say is that in this past relationship, a lot, I would speak up on my boundaries. I would speak up on where I feel the lack was, and also would evaluate and ask if there was any area that he felt that I needed to grow in. We did do that for each other. I can say that. But when it came to me expressing how I felt about certain things that he was doing or ways he wasn't showing up in the way that I needed him to, he would shut down, which is a part of his attachment style. I'll just leave it there. And I just found myself doing that a lot and just needing the reassurance, the validation from my partner, which I don't feel is anything wrong with, with needing that. But it got to a point where I just tried my best to just not even speak on anymore, or not speak on the things that I was feeling that was coming up about his activity and what he may be doing. And I can say I've never had any proof of him doing anything behind my back. But I can say now that I'm not in that relationship, all the proof that I need is the Holy Spirit. When I tell you God has shown me things, and even just going through this journey and then finding out that there's another person and just all these things, I now know that what I thought was a fact. Regardless of what he has said or she has said, the Holy Spirit has definitely confirmed some things for me. And that's all I need. And that's what I'm learning in this journey, is to just trust God and trust my discernment. Trust when he's trying to show me something and not overlook it. The devil will make you think that it's always your trauma. When you have gone through childhood trauma or, just things growing up, or just a lot of things in relationships that you go through, you tend to think, oh, maybe it's because this last person cheated on me, or this last person did this or that, But no, because this person right here that I was with was a really good man to me. And he really didn't give me much of a reason to think that there was anything else going on. But I just couldn't shake the feeling. And we have to pay attention to that. When you can't shake that feeling, no matter how they're showing up, no matter what they're doing, their actions, and then eventually their actions are going to show it. Eventually the irritation comes, the brushing off, where it just seems like what's going on with you? Like you're not as connected to me like you used to be. And not that relationships don't go through ebbs and flows and goes through that, but us women, we be knowing. We know when there's a shift in energy. We know when there's a shift in just how we interact with each other, or how they look at us, and just we just know. We know. I don't care about no gaslighting. I don't care about no manipulation or what men try to say sometimes, or when the proof is right there, or potential proof is right there, and they try to be like, no, or make it seem like it's you or whatever. We know. And we have to learn to trust that. And that is something that I believe that God has given to us women. Not that he hasn't given discernment to all people. Women, we just have something specific within us. I don't know what it is, but I thank God for giving that to us. Also, what's been helping me to heal is I really had to realize, and I think I saw this somewhere on TikTok or something, but I really had to realize, matter of fact, the thought came to me and then I ended up seeing it on TikTok. So I felt like that was confirmation. I remember that moment. I just remember thinking, if I have this heart, if I have the type of heart that I have, the capacity to love that I do, there has to be a counterpart. There has to be someone out there. This breakup has really made me feel like I want to be alone for the rest of my life, not ever put position to be hurt this badly again. But I really felt like the Lord was telling me, like, no. Yes, you need to be alone for now. Like, yes, like finally you get it. You needed to be hurt this much. I needed to be hurt this badly to really put things in motion with myself, because I lose myself in relationships and I stop doing what I'm doing, or I slow up, or once I start noticing certain behaviors, I start getting depressed, and the cycle continues. And that's where I know that my enemy wants to keep me. So that cycle had to be broken. And I just really believe that the Lord let me know in my heart that the type of heart that I have is not singular. It's not unique to me. I know and trust that there has to be a counterpart, you know? And I also, I'm gonna say it, I believe, I don't know if it's gonna happen in this situation or in this case, but I do believe that God can change anyone around. God can fix anyone's heart posture. God can clean anyone up. He's cleaned me up because God knows. God knows, you know, the things I've gotten myself into. And I can't just be one of those people that just sits back here and it's just like, oh, once a man does this or he does that, that's it. That's who he is. When they show you who you are, believe them. Now, I do believe that. I believe that that's who that person is in that moment, in that time. But I do believe that people can change. Like I said, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to occur in this situation. I just want to put it out there for anyone that does have hope or that knows their person. Only you know. You know, you can talk to your friends, you can talk to your family, but only you know the connection that you had. Only you know why God has led you to pray for this person, even after hurting you or whatever the case. I do believe that God can change people. So if that is your hope, pray for it, you know. But if it's not meant to happen, it's not. And just trust that God's going to have someone for you, because I'm believing that. I'm choosing to believe that God's going to give me the desire of my heart to one day be a wife and to have a purpose partner, someone that is a man that truly has a heart for God. That's what I want, and that's what I'm believing that I'm going to have. Now, I do want to address something. In one of my earlier vlogs from this year, I think it might have been in my 20s versus 30s vlog, and I said I have grown to a place where I feel like if a relationship doesn't work out, that it wouldn't affect me like it used to. Yeah, this was worse. You are never too old to experience new things. Yeah, you can grow out of things, but yeah, fooled me. This definitely hurt worse. But like I said, in the best way, I needed to be broken. I know that this was divine. I know that God allowed this for a greater purpose and to really light some fire under my tail. I've been getting into a better space because I have been actively choosing to heal and actively allowing myself to go through the stages of grief. Just being intentional about showing up for myself, being intentional about my relationship with God. I have my days, you know, there's times I still cry. You know, I think I cried 2 days ago, but it's still been few far in between as of lately, and I'm grateful for that. But it's starting to get cold out here. I'm home, so I'm about to head in the house. But I just want to leave you guys off with, just remember that healing is not linear, please. Like, these stages, I put them out of order for a reason, because they happened out of order. I didn't go through just like denial and shock and then go right into whatever the next stage is. It didn't happen like that for me. There's been times where I felt like I was accepting of it, and then would hit me like a ton of bricks, you know, the next day, all over again, just like it just happened. It doesn't mean that you're not healing if you go back to a space of anger or being in denial about it or waking up still with anxiety. It doesn't mean that you're not healing. It just means that you are human and you're allowing yourself to feel it. Do not suppress it. That does not help anyone. Do not jump into a rebound, okay? Do not jump into a rebound, because 9 times out of 10, they don't work. They just don't. I've been there. I've experienced it. They don't work. You know, it's best to just take the time to really heal and be intentional about your journey. And yeah, I am going to show you guys my get ready with me for this solo date. I didn't get a chance to show much of the restaurant because, you know, they were a little funny about recording, which is understandable. They were cool with it as long as I kept the camera on me. But of course they wanted to protect their servers and, you know, the chef and all that, and didn't want them to be on camera, which I understand, like I said, and I respect. But I did show me getting ready and just me having a good vibe, enjoying myself, having a good time. And yeah, I'm back home. So I'm about to head in the crib. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, who really enjoys seeing someone crying? But, you know, I hope you guys felt seen. I hope any of you that is out there that relates to grieving, if you're currently grieving, or if you know someone that is, please share, of course. Don't forget to subscribe. But I hope this helps you heal in some sort of way, because a lot of times we forget that we're not alone, especially when we start isolating ourselves and we distance ourselves from our friends, our family, or whoever, and we just feel like we're just stuck in this space. But it's not going to last forever. I promise you. You'll get your spark back. Boy or girl, whoever you are. But for my girlies, because that's what my channel's for. For the girlies, you are going to heal, okay? I'm feeling good. I'm happy, or in a happier space. And happiness is also temporary, but I have peace. And I have joy that can't be taken away. So I am praying for whoever is watching this, that your joy will be restored, your peace will be restored, and be even more than you've ever experienced before. And for this healing to not be in vain. And I promise you, if you go through the process and if you lean on God, I can't even fathom what's going to come out of it for you. You know, for me too, but for you, whoever's out there watching, just keep going and trust that there is light on the other side. But like I said, don't forget to subscribe and make sure you like and share this content with anyone who you feel needs it. But I love you guys. See you in the next one.